Let's first talk about the proliferation, I suppose, if you could call it that, of Ponzi and pyramid schemes in South Africa. I know the Reserve Bank, of course, has been tracking this for some time. You get a lot of claims coming through in terms of complaints around them. How bad is the problem?
Look, I think if we focused on the numbers, we might just lose the essence of what we're dealing with. You could have 5 schemes that have huge impact. You could have 25 schemes that have less impact. So what we're looking at is the fact that the public needs to be aware that investing in these schemes ultimately just lead into them losing their money. And if we can have a much more better informed public, we think that half the battle will have been won on the schemes.
So as you say, you could have 5 schemes which could affect millions of people.
Exactly.
So how, I mean, who's most vulnerable in South Africa? Who's been most affected by it?
Unfortunately, it cuts across the wide spectrum of society. So you do have wealthy people that do get caught in these schemes, particularly on the Ponzi schemes. But on the pyramid schemes, you find that the vulnerable communities, like the people that are receiving their pensions, so elderly, people that have lost their loved ones who have death benefits, people that have just received money from the road accident fund, people that have just gotten bonuses in their work. So those kind of people, and these are very vulnerable people.
And of course, attracted very much, of course, by the returns. Very attractive returns at a time when everyone's squeezed for money. So how do you avoid this? What is the Reserve Bank's stance in terms of being able to protect South Africans? What is your message to South Africans?
That's precisely the point. If you get a scheme that promises you returns that no official or registered institution like a bank can offer you, then you should know that you are potentially running into problems. Effectively, these schemes will promise you 50% return, 100% return within few months. Banks will give you between 4 and 5%. And these are registered institutions that you know that if you didn't get your money, you have a recourse. With these schemes, you have no recourse at all. You have nowhere to go. Therefore, your money disappears just like that.
Not protected. Depositors basically aren't protected under the Banks Act. So you have to raise that red flag. You're seeing returns that are just too good to be true. And of course, they are too good to be true most of the time. Tell us about the regulator from the Reserve Bank side. What are you doing? How well equipped are you to deal with this? Because looking back to 2011, 15 investigations started there and 26 carried over from the previous year. So how well equipped are you right now to take a look and crack down basically on Ponzi and pyramid schemes?
Look, the Reserve Bank is well equipped. We don't only use the resources of the Reserve Bank to investigate this. We use some of the large companies, forensic investigators in the country, to help us investigate and follow up on these stories. The length of the time we take in terms of closing down or investigating this stuff is related to the complexity. So it's not like you go today, you find Samantha, she's running a pyramid scheme, you close that. It's the interrelatedness of some of the things that you need to be able to cover. So if you investigate, they might have contravened the Banks Act. Invariably, if they contravene the Banks Act and they are involved in pyramid scheme, they will probably have contravened the personal income tax laws, they will have contravened other laws. It boils down to the fact that these are criminal activities which needs to be dealt with quite strongly.
And of course, check whether your financial institution is a regulated and a legal entity in South Africa. Thank you very much for coming in today. That was Hlengani Mathebula from the South African Reserve Bank.